You're listening to The Watchers, a show where two women from opposite ends of New Jersey find out that Dr. Abbott is an office supplies girlie. I bet he goes to the Container Store.
Oh, him
and Robbie going to the Container Store together?
We have to stop writing fan fiction, Jodie. We have to stop.
My fan fiction involves the Container Store at all times.
Wow, we're really bringing it back to our early days. I'm like fanning myself when you said that. I literally, just the two, because
shopping together for like desk organizers.
Specifically at the Container Store. We've talked about the joy of containers.
Wait, real quick. You're Andrea. I'm Jodie. We love the Container Store.
We love the Container Store.
And we watch the Pitt. Go ahead.
And not that you and I live lives similar to Abbott and Robbie, but I think we both know a little bit about chaos and living tumultuously at points. And there is nothing more satisfying than walking into the Container Store, where not only is everything in that store where it should be, but the things in that store have the potential to put everything in your life where it should be.
Yes.
There's nothing better.
Nothing fixes a chaotic life more than like some good notebooks and a desk organizer. I love a clipboard. I texted this to you. I was so excited to see the clipboards come out and those racks that the clipboards sit in.
Yeah, I want to be so clear for our listeners. I know this is not what you were saying, but I don't want anyone to think that what you're saying is like using the notebooks and the containers will fix your life. It's knowing they exist and being near them and in proximity.
I'm pretty sure people know that I don't think it's actually going to fix my life, but
I just want to be clear for the people who can do that, that like we're not all living in that universe.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, I've got them. I threw out a notepad the other day, one that I bought because I thought it was going to fix my life, a notebook rather. And I was like, I'm never going to use this one. And I threw it out. And it really felt like growth. It might be the first time I've thrown out a notebook like that.
I don't think I've ever thrown out a notebook.
I did it with one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, famously in my life, my notebook / calendar system that I had created to survive my job is what tipped off my doctor to recommend I get tested for ADHD. She was like, I was so proud of it. I showed it to her and she was like, immediately got this concerned look on her face. And I was like, what?
She's like, how much time did you spend making that system? And how many days have you used it?
I was like, look, this is how I survive every year. What are you talking about? This is such a good system. It's color coded. Like there's a page for each class. And,
She's like, a lot of people
just live.
They just live.
They just do their jobs without crutches.
It is
that they bought at Staples.
I could have watched an hour of them explaining what the system would be. It was so lovely.
The racks with the cartoon bodies.
And Robbie and Abbott, I said last week I couldn't wait to watch the two of them run this room. And boy, did they end with Dr. Al-Hashmi. I have to give her a little credit. She kind of popped in here too. And Nurse Jessie. I love him. But
he's a true Gen X millennial cusper.
Yeah, and he's got a little more bite to him than I realized until the last couple of weeks. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, all the olds are kind of satisfied with their superior knowledge of fax machines.
I was thinking about the fact that that in high school, for like 2 years of high school and 2 years out, so for like 3 or 4 years, that's how the math works out. I worked at a doctor's office as a medical records clerk. And it was the best job because all I did was find charts, alphabetize charts, put results away, send faxes, give results to patients if there was nothing remarkable to report, and realizing that job just doesn't exist anymore. I don't know why it hadn't occurred to me, because the month that I left my job, it was the summer of 2004, they were just getting ready to move over to computers. So I never had to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what? I would have been leaving either way. They wouldn't have needed me anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that there's something so soothing to certain brains about that. It's why I loved working at a bookstore, like facing out books and organizing shelves. I feel like we've had this conversation, but like I was psyched when those clipboards came out, and then horrified when, I can't remember if it was Larry or Antoine, was using a fucking felt tip pen.
Yes.
Go to jail. Directly to jail.
Goodness. I know. I think a lot of our listeners are close to our age, so I hope that they're connecting with this and we don't just sound like we're a billion years old right now.
Yeah,
but
we are, though. It's okay.
Like, my job, when I would come in every day, there'd be a list of the next day's patients, and most of my day was spent finding charts because they'd be alphabetized on the wall. But of course, like, you know, they end up at different places. And the satisfaction of there being a chart that I couldn't find, and then, like, it's the last one, I finally find it, it's like stuck behind a computer or whatever. Like, I have been chasing that high for 22 years.
That is me reshelving magazines at the end of a shift. It's at Barnes and Noble when the store closed and everything has to go back on the shelf. Give me that stack of magazines and I will find like a word search or a memory game or a puzzle. I will find every single magazine where it goes.
There is nothing like it.
I know. But the younger doctors and nurses do not seem amused by all this antiquated technology. Although I think that Joy has the most old school technology of all. I was
thinking about that. It's like clipboards, charts, racks, and Joy.
And Joy and memory. Yeah.
Which, yes, I know, photographic memory, it's highly debated. It's probably not actually a thing, et cetera, et cetera. But some people have really good memory. Yeah. It's also, she's not remembering stuff from a week ago. It's stuff from today. No. So she probably has a better working memory. She loves puzzles and mysteries. So I'll bet she's one. I could see her being one of those little creeps who does like brain training puzzles and stuff. Because you can, never me, I'll never be this person, but you can improve your memory. So, and also there are, do you know about Mary Lou Henner? Ever hear of her? Do you know about her memory?
I don't think so.
Okay,
If I did, I don't remember.
Because you don't have her memory.
I don't have any memory.
Yeah, mine is terrible as well. Mary Lou Henner, she's an actor. I knew her first and best from Taxi. She's been around forever.
I know the name.
Yeah,
but...
you would know her face if you ever saw her, which you have seen her, and then you'd say, "Oh, I know her face." She is apparently one of 100 cases all time in the world, I believe, of people who have a memory that is near perfect, like to the point where if you tell her August 15th, 1980, she can be like, "Oh, it was a Tuesday.
Wow.
I was at the grocery store. I bought a can of peas," and they've been able to like test that it starts at, for some reason, from the age 11 for her. She can remember back that far. And but even hers isn't 100% perfect. It's near perfect. So just want to, but anyway, Joy's so cool.
Yeah, I can see, like, if you're already good at that kind of thing and that's the way your brain works and you are at your first day in a new job and you're really hyper paying attention to details, like remembering just the names of patients, where they are and what their diagnosis is actually probably, like, it would be very difficult for you or I to do, but I don't think it's that out of the realm of possibility.
No. And like my grandmother used to play little memory games with herself, and she would always say, like, I don't even know how we got here, but I do know how we got here. It doesn't matter. But of like, I could see, Joy's probably making, who knows, but a mental map of the ER. And she's got pictures in her head of, like Harlow with Santos, and, Harlow's maybe wearing, I don't know, I would put a hat on her to remember headache, like that kind of thing. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, like when my brain is working properly, I can do stuff like that. And it's how I survived school in the beginning with horrendous ADHD, was that I had a visual memory like that, where I could like look at my notes, rewrite them, and then they would stay. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anyway.
At least for a little while. Yeah, we won't ask her next week. All that to say, Abbott loves her. That's all that there's to say. He clocked that.
I love their vibe.
I know.
She really asks if he was there in the 1900s, which is a fun Gen Alpha thing.
Yeah, he liked it, though.
Yeah. I think that we should just kind of like talk about wrap up talking about what's happening today and then go into the patients.
Sure.
Like I mentioned, we have Larry and Antoine, who, to their credit, are filling in as clerks. They have no idea what this job is. Like, I saw someone on Reddit giving them shit for like acting like these two don't know what they're doing, but they don't. This isn't their job.
Yeah.
they're just suddenly sat down with, they're not like you or I, where if we were sat down with a bunch of like forms in triplicate and stickers and clipboards, we'd be like, got this.
We're back,
Can't
baby.
wait.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Princess plays charge nurse for a bit until Dana is back, which she does not want to do.
No, but she does a great job, of course.
She does a great job, but Perla is like immediately throwing her under the bus.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, Princess has charge nurse experience. She's like, not really.
Oh, well.
But yeah, she does a great job. She does sort of like briefly kind of like without saying it, see if she can like needle Dana into coming back, even though she knows Dana can't.
Though Dana coming back at the end when maybe it's Joy, I don't remember who it is, but somebody hears the fax machine go off and they're like, what is that noise? And she's like,
UFO landed. Aliens are invading.
That's right.
Yeah. That fax machine, man. Oh
no. Abbott was so excited to see it.
Abbott, that's what I mean. Abbott is an office supplies girly. He is into the old tech. He's into like solving somebody's breathing problem with a pen and a lighter. I
was just gonna say he's got a favorite pen for writing and also for
Abbott would
trachs.
never use a felt tip pen.
Absolutely not.
For writing or for trachs.
For
neither.
That's right.
Yeah. Felt tip pens are why are they even in the hospital anyway?
That's genuinely a really good question.
But you know, it's funny. This is the sort of turning point episode, the like middle of the season where everything, it's like a hinge, right? Like the before and after, everything goes down. I think they're still holding back on how insane it's going to get, though.
That's what I was wondering. Is if this is
it's the beginning of the chaos,
and this is the big thing. I was like, we still have like almost half a season left.
Yep.
And I can't imagine it's just, No,
this is like, you know, I think you can tell that like the chaos in the beginning is almost funny where they're like Langdon's knocking racks off of shelves and joking about, you know, back to the future. And there's a little bit of a comedic vibe to it. And like, they don't have an overwhelming number of patients, even like they did in the last episode.
That's right.
And then at the very end, we get that pan of the whole room where papers are flying and there's so many people around the nurse's station compared to normal. And like Robbie and Dana are looking at each other. And that's why I feel like it's like, this is the beginning of the chaos. It's like Yeah,
I was thinking like, we don't really have any, even our outstanding cases right now are not all that outstanding. Like we've got Howard who's leaving.
Yeah.
Everybody else. Roxy, who, I mean, we'll get to, but like, everything's kind of on the downslope. And we've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. It feels like they're making space for something.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, we still have Jackson and we'll get to all these guys. But yeah, even like Harlow seems to be wrapped up. So it's interesting. It's an interesting point to stop at. I really was annoyed that it was 45 minutes. I'll just leave that there.
It's like, so funny because
the show is in real time. You cannot cut 15 minutes out of time.
I know.
That's not how time works.
That's not how time works. I've often said what I like about shows on like HBO or Apple is they can be as long as they need to be.
Yeah.
And that's great. Sometimes they're a little longer. Sometimes they're a little shorter. Not this show. I need this show. We never even get it. I need a full, like, what is it? Door to balloon time of 60 exact minutes. And we never get it.
I know. It's not, you can't say the show is about the real-time experience of being in an ER and then just disappear 15 of those minutes.
15 minutes from me.
Not cool, guys.
Even if all you're doing, I would watch like Dana shuffle papers for 45 seconds a few times a day if that's all that's happening.
Easily.
Now that I think about it.
No, let's get together.
Yeah, actually,
like my dream way to spend those 15 minutes is let's get together, Robbie, Abbott, and Jesse, and Dana, and have them just kind of talk about the old days and like joke about clipboards and fax machines and like make fun of the Gen Alpha people in the nursing staff.
And tell me their favorite
That's what
pens.
I need. Oh, absolutely.
That's all
absolutely.
I need.
Yeah. They all turn to camera and do a little like TikTok of, you know, this new pen I got in the mail.
I would be thrilled.
We also get little audio cue that'll come back later of the bell. the Santos says it means your tuna melt is up.
My favorite part about this whole thing is last week we said that we commented on how quickly Whitaker got a picture of the board.
Oh, God. Whitaker got a really accidentally horrible selfie and then a very blurry picture of the board.
So funny.
It's like abstract art. It's just colors and squares.
It's so good because we've been really celebrating his kind of glow up this season, and they're like, okay,
yeah,
but it's
that's such a Whittaker moment.
It's still fucking Huckleberry. Like,
yeah,
let's
it's still
be
the guy
so
that
clear.
Had to change his scrubs like 4 times on the first day. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I think, when Dana comes back, everybody's like, thank fucking God. Not that Princess is bad at her job, but Dana can do 17 things at once with her arm behind her back somehow.
And you just need her there.
Yeah.
Like,
and as soon as she's back, you hear her people all over the place going, Dana, 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 hey, Dana, Dana.
Yep.
Oh, one little thing I wanted to note while we're talking about like scenes around the nurse's station is we get a really sweet moment with Langdon and McKay here where she asks him how he's doing. It's the first time we've seen them really interact since he's been back. And he says, one day at a time. And she reveals to him, which it seems he didn't know, that she is 9+ years sober. Obviously, she and Langdon know each other from working in the same ER, but why would they sit down to talk about something like that otherwise? So she reveals it to him in a way that is like, hey, if you need something, let me know. And I love him having like not just an ally, but like an ally that really understands that experience. Also of being the fuck up in the ER. She was there with an ankle monitor last season,
That's a great point. Yep.
So I'm psyched for their new bond that they may develop from this. I really loved that.
It is really nice. And I just love Langdon more and more every week. I kind of, because he's so handsome, he's got that dimple perfectly calibrated to his, also a problem. But he's not, other than the drug stuff. Like, he's just like competent but also a doofus. And I don't know. He's that kid's got layers,
We also find out that Jersey catches a little stray in this episode that I wasn't psyched about.
And first of all,
watch yourself.
Yeah. Dr. Moen can say whatever the fuck she wants about Jersey.
Can she though?
Well, if to another person from New Jersey, she could.
If the character is from New Jersey, I guess she can. But yeah, because we find out that, Mohan's not sure of what fellowship she might want to go for or try to get. And she tells Al-Hashimi that her mom sold her house to travel the world with her new boyfriend and says, so what's the point of New Jersey? And like for Mohan to say that, if she's from New Jersey, I guess.
She's being
we've all been
bad
there.
Representative.
But we've all been there. Like when I left the state, I was like, fuck this place. And then it took a while for me to come back around. But then Al-Hashimi says, yeah, good question.
No. Listen, I was just starting to come around on you.
Yeah. Watch it. Watch it and watch out, as you said in your text to me.
I know. I meant to say watch it. I said watch out.
No, both work.
Correct. Both correct.
Exactly. But Mohan is considering 3 very wildly different fellowships, and Al-Hashimi recommends geriatrics because she's seen her interact with older patients. Which, honestly, she likes to take a little more time with her patients. She likes to get to know them. Like, that's not a bad idea. As we both have older parents, like, those nurses that are like, that choose geriatrics and that really get what that role is are so fucking valuable.
Totally. And can slow down with them. And
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I think it's not maybe the specialty that a lot of people naturally gravitate towards. Like, it's not as shiny or something, but like, I don't know. I think Mohan would be great at it.
Yeah, I think so too.
The only other thing that happens around the nurse's station is Digby, and I want to save that for like a patient. Actually, we could start with Digby because it's such a small thing.
He was where you said he'd be.
There were so many points in this episode where I was like, I was right again. I won't harp on it, but I was right again. Yes, Digby was visiting Louis because they were friends, and he had a lot to say to him.
Yeah, and I wasn't surprised that that's where he was once I understood that he was missing last week.
Yeah.
But as soon as you said it, I was like, where else, right? Like,
yeah.
But I was a little at first surprised that they didn't show him with us. But then I was thinking, one thing being I kind of liked that it was a private moment for Digby and Lily.
Yeah.
Second thing is, do we ever have, I don't think so, any scenes that aren't from the point of view of one of our doctors or nurses? Have we ever seen like a patient by themselves? so we couldn't unless somebody was in there with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't think of a single moment where somebody's on screen without.
Yeah. No, I was trying to think about the point of view question myself recently, and I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
But I loved the moment that got me. Again, Dana calls him Mr. Digby, and he's like, just Digby. And the bell goes off, and he says, oh, Louis got his wings. It really got me.
It's so sweet.
And it's like, we had complained a little bit about when Digby's case was sort of more of the focus, that he was portrayed a little bit as like helpless in a way that was a bit uncomfortable. Even that little moment where it's like, this is a person who at one point was not unhoused and at one point watched the movie It's a Wonderful Life and like has the same like cultural references as the rest of us. Like, he's a human being, you know, not just an avatar for something.
Yeah. And there is something nice, helplessness aside, there's something nice about them portraying somebody like Digby as just inherently sweet and not dangerous, which is often how, like, the guy, the Kraken, I don't even remember what his real name is, how, like, he started out, you know, we had to get to a point where we could see him differently. But Digby's just, like, he's a sweet guy. He's dealing with something.
And a little nod to the fact that, like, the unhoused community is actually a community, often, of people helping each other survive. Like,
totally.
You know? So I appreciated that little moment for Digby. But so Harlow is our first patient that we really interact with again. And this, to me, I kept thinking about our conversation last week about how so much of this seemed to be about the frustration and not about her case. And we were kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop of like, what if there's something really wrong and it means Santos fucked up? I'm so glad that's not the direction they went, because that's such an ER or like Grey's Anatomy storyline.
And to punish Santos, I mean, she was not as careful as she should have been.
Right.
And
especially in the way she spoke. But
yes. Yeah. And a lot of that had to do with, not all of it, a lot of it had to do with what she has to work with here and what's going on and all of the problems that happen. And so for Harlow to suffer, not that I'm sure this happens in real life, I'm not saying it doesn't, but on our show, for Harlow to not have to like die or something, and for Santos to not have to kill a patient, like to teach us a lesson. I'm glad that, and sometimes this stuff happens and it's just really frustrating and really annoying. And then Harlow and Santos have to go about their day.
Yeah. And that was, I think, the point they were trying to make. And I'm glad that they didn't try to up the dramatics of it and just made it like, this literally was like basically a tension headache, and she had to sit in the fucking ER for a whole day practically just to get a 2-second shot to feel better.
Exactly. It was 30 seconds with the interpreter and 2 minutes for the shot, and then
that's all they needed.
And now Harlow is going to be another moment when Santos is presenting the case to Dr. Al-Hashmi, and she does the like, oh yes, the injection could help with pain for several months as long as she keeps her laptop at eye level. It's like, thank you for the double PSA, folks.
Yeah, I do like that. You can see the slight shifts in Santos's relationship with Al-Hashmi now that they've had one more conversation beyond like, do your fucking charts. Yeah, you know, like, just so much of this show subtly is about the really powerful impact that the attendings and the people in levels of power in the hospital have over these people who are learning on the job every single day.
Such a good point, because now too, even like Dr. Moen, who maybe has not thought about geriatrics, this could, even just that quick conversation could change.
Yeah. And I also think like all that charting pressure, I wonder if we're going to see, like, Santos is still going to be under other stresses because Langdon is there and Robbie's leaving, but she can't chart right now. She has to just do her job with her patients, and that extra pressure that is put on her is not going to be there right now.
That's right.
Like, she asked about that AI app, and it was kind of a dig at Al-Hashmi, but it was also like, well, no, now you're free. Like, do your job, work with patients.
That's such a good point. I thought of one other thing going on in the ER more broadly because of this is we meet Dr. Nord, I believe is her name, the one who is running the
yes, the pharmacy pharmacologist.
The pharmacologist. And when she gets introduced, and Mel Mel like very happily waves back and then realizes that's actually not what's happening in this moment.
Yeah.
Poor Mel is so, I know we'll get to her later too, but just that, not enough, never enough Mel.
Never enough Mel. I think we're going to get more Mel next week, whether it's, for her benefit or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, and let's talk about Roxy now, because I feel like it's such a big, rich storyline that like had such a tiny little moment this episode, but was still kind of impactful. We meet Roxy's parents, which was just a breath of not fresh air, but like so nice to have that perspective come in, because we've been having this one note back and forth with like her husband and his, dealing with it the way he's dealing with it, and the doctors and Roxy. To have the parents come in, it's like seeing a whole new perspective all of a sudden on the situation.
And one that is not, like, we've had her husband who's been so on top and doesn't want to end. Her parents get one look at the situation and realize, like, what needs to happen is space. And they're just being, like, perfect parents of children with children at this moment. I was going to say grandparents, but like it's almost more about what they're doing for Roxy than the kids, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, they realize that she needs a break. There's an eye contact moment between Roxy and her father where it's just all said in that second. He's just like, yep, let's get the kids out of here. Like, we need to give her a moment, maybe. And her mom says maybe mom would like time to rest. The thing that really broke me was someone asked, can she have ice cream? And Javadi said she can have anything she wants.
We knew the second Roxy came in, but there's a chance. No question. Is there a chance we lose her today in this season?
Yes, I believe so. I believe we will, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think the whole point of this storyline, like we were wondering about last week, is sort of end of life care, palliative care, what palliative care actually means. I mentioned last week, I wonder if we're going to see a palliative care doctor, and we haven't, but we did have Robbie bring up this like principle of like treat the pain and then what happens kind of happens. Like the whole point is to treat the pain.
It makes sense now. It makes narrative sense for this show. The thing what sounds like I'm about to complain about, which is she came in from home hospice without a lot of the things that it seems like she'd already be well aware of and probably using if she's this far along. But they're kind of giving us a view for people who maybe haven't interacted with this. Now we get to see the death doula, probably a palliative care doctor at some point. Like we get all of this information. And then also sometimes I don't know anybody who hasn't been affected in their life to some degree by cancer. So I'm not saying anything new, but sometimes it's really slow. Sometimes it's really fast. Sometimes it's really slow and then it's really fast.
And then fast. Yeah.
And so I don't think it's as unrealistic as I thought her case might have been when she first came in.
Well, and to the hospice point, like, I don't know, they keep referring to her as a hospice patient, but it doesn't sound like what she has going on at home right now is actually technically hospice because there's like structures that would have been in place otherwise.
Exactly.
So it sounds like maybe they're loosely, unfortunately, using the term hospice as like they're no longer treating the cancer.
Right.
Like they're in a palliative care state.
But she hasn't officially transitioned to hospice care.
Right. And so instead of, because there are plenty of hospice patients who don't want to die at home because their families will have to continue to live in that place. And if they don't want to be in a hospital, many places have like hospice houses that they can move into. None of that seems to have happened yet. So I do think what you said about how sometimes cancer can move slow and then fast, it seems kind of like maybe that's what happened here is they kind of got caught off guard a little bit.
Right.
But I'm glad the parents are there. I feel like this is a not so subtle hint that we are going to be seeing that choice of like, well, we treat the pain and we see what happens. And if what happens is death, then what happens is death. Roxy seems
I was just going to say
pretty fucking prepared for that even if no one else is. But her poor kid doesn't have his phone to distract him anymore because there's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And they're in the basement.
Yeah, they got to get him out of there.
Yeah. But we'll see where Roxy goes next week. We get Brooke. This one for me was... So I have a thing about eye stuff anyway. But I have a history of stroke in my family, and my brother actually had an eye stroke. I mentioned this to you over text. Like, I didn't text him about this to get any more info, but like there's a genetic defect, I guess, or a genetic abnormality that he has that runs in families that he had said that I should get checked for because of this. It's like a clotting disorder thing. Right. So people were like, eye stroke, what's that? I'm like, oh no, I don't want to talk about this.
What's the vision situation for him? Do you know? Like,
he has a good amount of that vision back, I believe. He doesn't have all of it back, but yeah, I want to ask him if he's on a bike trip. So this is the brother of mine that is like, spends all of his retirement, he's in his 60s, bicycling across countries with his wife, like 3,000 miles at a time on a bicycle, not a bike like Robbie, like a bicycle with camping gear on the back, like up mountains in Mexico.
Good for him.
He is more fit than I will ever be in my entire life.
Well, and I have to imagine it's a timing thing, obviously, because it's about blood loss. So if they caught it quickly for him, you know. Yeah, it was very scary, but it was interesting for them to show this here because you could see the urgency that happens as soon as they do the exam. You see Dr. Al-Hashmi be like, okay, this has to happen. We're going to go get this guy. Let's go, right? It's very, very scary to me to think about. Like vision as a visual artist. Yeah. This is my nightmare. I don't know that we've talked, and I won't because I know how eye stuff averse you are, is that I'm so quite literally and emotionally desensitized to eye stuff because of my own medical stuff that like I was just mostly more interested than anything else here. But it is, I love to think about how they decide which cases.
I know. Well, the other thing that this case does for us is it gives us a moment of Al-Hashmi kind of taking on the cowboy role. Like Robbie's like, that's a risky choice. And she's like, well, I'm doing it. And he's like, okay, I'm not going to be here to see the fallout, which is like a total flip.
So many things happening there. One is it that Al-Hashmi knows this ER runs a little loose and Robbie is still technically the attending in this ER. And like, I just wonder, knowing her whole thing of, or I guess what we've kind of speculated about her not wanting to get her hands literally and or metaphorically dirty, if being in this kind of different environment is loosening her up a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's like she mentions, so the person that she calls to consult or to kind of whatever she ends up doing with this other doctor is a person from the VA that clearly she already knows. Yeah. So it might just be something that she has some knowledge of. Right. I don't know. It's interesting.
And he's like the lead, or they're the lead researcher, I think, on this new thing. And so maybe it's risky, but it's not like against protocol. So she can kind of thread and she does give her all of the...
Yeah. I gotta say, if a doctor came to me and laid out with graphic visuals, like the chances of things happening, I would be so much happier. Totally. Like the way that she literally has a piece of paper with like the people representing percentages, I was like, man,
I'm curious
about,
I thought about what I would do in this situation. And as somebody who this question is way more difficult for you, obviously, but the work I do, I'm an audio engineer, but so much of editing is visual. Like, I don't know that I could edit a podcast episode without my eyes, but I could do an okay job without my ears, weirdly.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because you can see the waveforms and
I
stuff.
Can see the waveforms, yeah.
Yeah.
So, in fact, sometimes that's how you deal with, if you're really manually editing something, you often will take a quick scan through because you can see when things are way too quiet or way too loud and fix those before you even start. So, but it's one eye.
I know.
And there is what is it? Like, I forget what the percentage is, but it's like, I don't know, 1 out of 100 die or something. I forget exactly. Maybe it's not that high.
So it's. I have it right here. Okay. Basically, only 17% of people get better without any treatment. With the medicine, another 20% can improve, which is still a low percentage. Right. But there can be complications. 2% of patients get worse, and 1% have severe disability or death.
So
it's 1 out of 100.
Idiot, but it is 1 out of 100.
Yes.
If it were both eyes.
Yeah.
And depending on my career, I might take it. I think with like again, for me, I could edit a podcast with one eye I couldn't.
Yeah.
So
I mean, weirdly, I don't even know if this is necessary to say. It's such a weird thing for me to say, but like as a photographer, I spend a lot of my time taking 3 dimensions and flattening them into 2.
right. Yeah,
And
that's true.
the second eye gives you depth perception.
That's
Part
a good
of me
point.
kind of wonders if there's a weird, sick part of my brain that would be like, well, I spent 50 years of my life with depth perception. What would it be like to not have it?
Right.
You know, I spend a lot of time with one eye closed anyway. I don't know. That's a really weird way to think about it. But
Well, it's
as someone who theorizes about art all the time and
Right.
like thinks about vision constantly, it would almost be like, well, I'm the science experiment. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I still teach students to process film and my job. And one of the things we have to do is load the film onto the reels to process in complete darkness. And so we have like basically
cool.
a closet that they
Yeah.
go into and turn the lights off so it's pitch dark. And every time they do it, like we do it in groups, a couple at a time. I'm in the room with them, sitting in the back, kind of trying to make it seem normal, that it's dark in there. And every single time we end up having a conversation about like, what would it be like to lose your vision? Because all of a sudden, they're not used to this at all.
I was just
I've been
going to
there
say,
a million
it's
times.
probably the darkest
They've
ever.
And if you wait a while, you can start to see like a little light sneaking under the door or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this is something I think about probably more than most people.
Yeah. One more thing about darkness.
Okay.
And then we can move on. The movie theater I worked at, our theaters were pretty big. And when we were closed and all of the lights were out, like in the hallways and in the theater, it's something shut the door. There
No light.
rooms
Yeah.
inside rooms, and we would my friend who was my manager at the time and I would hold hands and walk in and see how far in we could get and how long we could stay in that darkness before you get too scared and have to run out. Because I never had darkness like
Unsettling.
that.
Yeah. I'm sure people that grew up like in the actual country are a bit more used to that. Like when I was in Wyoming,
it gets dark.
It gets so dark. It's crazy. Anyway, side note. But the last thing about the Brooke case that I think we need to touch on is the scene that it takes us to. So Mel is asked by Dr. Al-Hashmi to stick with this patient. Mel is like, I can't focus on fucking anything. Can I do my charts? And she says no. And while she is in there, Dr. Ellis, who needs to be in every episode, comes down to give a monologue. They're not having a conversation. Nope, it's not a discussion. This is actually quite illegal, but we're just going to roll with it because it's Dr. Ellis.
Ellis can do whatever Dr. Ellis wants.
She can monologue as long as she wants to.
It might not be illegal. I don't know that it says that you can't monologue.
No.
Ain't nothing in the rule book says a dog can't play basketball, Jodie.
On Reddit, the lawyers were pretty adamant that this is not okay. But I don't care.
I don't care.
I do need to point out that once again, I was right. It's Measles Kid.
It's the Measles Kid.
Fucking knew it. That mother. But so Dr. Ellis tries to calm Mel down and say...
Calm me right down.
Yeah. It worked for me. I don't know that it worked for Mel. No. But anyone who is trying to comfort Mel is a friend of mine. And she just kind of lays it out and says, look, this is a ridiculous lawsuit. This is what actually happened, not what the mother thinks happened. You know, it has nothing to do with what you did.
And in fact, if it's anybody's fault,
it's the mother's fault.
It's the mother's fault.
Yeah. Yeah. End of monologue. We never discussed the case.
Thanks, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, next episode is 3:00, and that is when her deposition is scheduled for. So that's why I said we're going to have more Mel coming up.
We've also questioned, have we ever seen, because like we only see Garcia when she comes down to visit. We only see Javadi's mom. So I think I asked early on, like, are we going to get to go with Mel to her deposition? But I don't think so. I don't think we leave the ER. Because
we don't leave the ER, right? That's a good point. I wonder if we will. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's one of those things that like, oh no, they have to go upstairs to do it. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see.
I love the idea of the upstairs that we never get to see. It reminds me of Angel, the powers that be.
Because this is a video podcast, our listeners never get to see the blank look that comes over my face when Andrea talks about a show that I haven't watched, where I just kind of nod like I know what she's talking about.
Angel's so good. Do not let me forget. You will and I will, and it will be neither of our faults. But there is a proposal that has been presented to me in the last couple of days that I want to put in front of our listeners and you to get some feedback before you and I make any decisions. I'm planting this now, and
Sounds
we'll
very
talk
official.
about it at the end of the episode.
Okay. Let's move on to Jackson. I love Caleb every time I see him, but it's no more than when he is needling at Robbie and making fun of Javadi. He's the two cowboys dueling on a dusty plain of Caleb, Michael, when they meet each other.
That's exactly.
Are you managing this chaos okay? So pointed.
Yeah.
Pretty easy when you're a short timer.
Robbie, you got to stop saying stuff like, I'm not going to be here to deal with complications and I'm a short timer. No, you're not. And it's because you keep saying this.
I know.
Quit juggling like Jesse. We get it.
Yeah.
Like,
he asks Javadi if she has any more comatose patients for him to talk to. Her face. Javadi is doing the like big-eyed, like shocked, surprised, aghast face a lot. It's really fun.
She's got a lot of fun little looks and stuff in this episode.
Yeah. But we meet Nicole Steadman, which I really loved this as like a humanizing moment, not just for like the story, but for, it's another audience moment where you're like, hey, actually, let's let you know what this could actually be like to happen to you and not just sensationalize it.
Right.
She runs the parent support group for the psychiatric service because her daughter was diagnosed with schizophrenia sophomore year in college. And she talks to the parents.
Yeah, and how did you feel about the conversation?
I felt like it was awkwardly realistic in a way where like so Nicole is doing her best to demystify, prepare them, create realistic expectations, and the parents are reacting kind of how I would expect parents to react. The dad is like trying to sort of fight his way out of this reality, and the mom is just sort of absorbing the fact that she had a son who was a law student and now she may have a son that works in a supermarket. And like, there is nothing wrong with working in a supermarket. My dad worked in retail his whole life. He didn't go to college. Work is work, right? But when you have all these expectations for your children, especially if they are these type of parents that are like law school, yes, creative career, no.
Right.
Yeah. What about you?
I have to remind myself that not everybody has the kind of real world experience with mental illness, but also just like mental health in general, like these conversations. Yeah. And so when he says something like, is there a blood test we can take? It's like,
I know.
No,
sorry,
dude. For none of this.
Yeah.
Like, no. Yeah. Although there is a test you can take. It's not a blood test, but it's a swab test you can take to get a better idea of which medications might work best for you. Yep. But no, the answer is no.
Right.
And then some of the language just made me laugh of like, some people with schizophrenia, she doesn't say quite this, I'm looking at it, it's not quite this bad, but like go on to live perfectly normal lives. Like, and it's just like, a lot of people are walking around with a lot of stuff. And I know schizophrenia and bipolar disorder especially can be really difficult to treat.
They're also two of the most stigmatized words in mental health, right? Like bipolar less so now because there's sort of the bipolar 1 and 2 distinction, and a lot of like sort of famous people have come out and said like, I have bipolar disorder or whatever. But schizophrenia, not so much still. And so, they are two of the most like, oh no words when people hear them. So, but the idea of like living a normal life, it's still not like, that is a little bit of a facetious statement because it's like normal to who? Everyone's normal is different. And yeah. But I think given the amount of time they gave to it, they did a pretty good job of making it relatable in a way that maybe people who don't have as much direct experience with these kinds of things could use the information.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are other people watching other cases on this show the way I do, where it's like, oh, how nice of me to learn this information and not
absolutely.
be so like nitpicky about it. So
yeah. I think the next person we should probably talk about is Alana, because it seems like we've wrapped this story here most likely, making all of the points that were needed to make while still having a really emotional and satisfying end. Purposely unsatisfying and also satisfying end to this piece. Alana comes back with Emma. I have such a soft spot for Emma now after seeing her interact with this patient. Dana finishes the exam and then basically kind of carefully shoos Emma out of the room. Before Emma leaves, she says, "You're a very brave woman." I just like, you never know what the right or wrong thing to say is in that moment, but like the meaning, the sort of like feeling behind that was so genuine and so sweet.
That's how I felt too. She said it and I was like, oh, I wonder, like, however they had Alana respond to that, to me, I think would have been appropriate.
Yeah.
And so, but I think sometimes you also just need to hear somebody be kind to you, and it almost doesn't matter if it's the exact right words or not.
Well, and Emma is so young and acts, and it seems so young, that I think that there's, like, Alana's also young, but feels much more mature, possibly because of what she just went through, but also, like, maybe just age-wise. But it seems kind of like, if I put myself in her position, I would think, oh, that's really, like, what a sweet kid. Like, she says she's a great nurse, and Dana says, well, she will be.
Which to me, that's high praise from Dana.
I know.
Because Dana, Dana can, day one, knows exactly whether or not somebody's going to be a good nurse.
Well, and I feel like, in the morning, it was a little bit like, all right, we'll see with this one. And then after this moment, I feel like she probably does feel like, okay, this girl has something she can do, like she handled it well.
She did, yeah. And Dana really has, I mean, we think about what Emma's, like, done today, what her first day has been. Between Louis and this, she's made it through without doing anything as boneheaded as some of my, the doctors I love the most, or interns or whatever, have done.
If Catherine Lanasa doesn't get another Emmy for this season, I will, like, eat my boots. Like, there's no way. I don't know where I came up with that, but yes. Also, honestly, the girl playing Alana, I couldn't remember her name last week. It's Tina Ivlev. Her credits are very, like, they're mostly video game voiceover and video game acting. Doesn't have much of a resume at this point, other than, like, a guest here and a guest there on, like, a Law and Order. But man,
what is the deal with casting on this show? Because to get so many people, once in a while, there's an actor who can't quite keep up with everybody else in these
not often
single patient, like, cases. Single patient cases. You know what I mean? In these cases,
like, not a family member, but like the actual patient.
But for the most part, they crush it. And to have these people with such small, like, I think about Langdon all the time. Like 3 credits,
and a lot of them are theater actors that, like, have very few film credits. Langdon was a theater actor as well, but this girl literally almost, like, a guest spot here and there on, like, a Law and Order type thing, and then video game work, and pulls this performance off, this subtle, like, heartbreaking, not overacted performance. It's incredible. Like, I hope she gets nominated for, like, a guest Emmy, like a guest starring Emmy.
It would be so well deserved.
Yeah.
That's another cool thing about this show, I just realized, and it hasn't really happened, but the idea that because they do bring in actors who haven't done very much, but then they get a lot to do, is, like, the idea of somebody like her being nominated alongside, I mean, I don't know who will be nominated next season, but it's usually names that we know very well. That's just a really cool
It's like a launching pad kind of show.
Yeah.
Which is, like, something you could only do if you have supreme confidence in both your writing, your casting people, and your main stars to, like, make it work. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are household names now that weren't last year because of it.
Really cool.
But we wrap up this storyline with a heartbreakingly accurate, I think, example of what can happen with rape kits. And yet another reason, like I said last week, why when people say, why don't women report? I want to like throw a, something at them, because there's so many reasons. And this is one of them. You go through all of that nightmare and then your fucking rape kit sits there for 2 weeks and it's like, nobody cares.
So Dana cares. She just doesn't have the time to notice. And then when she does, the phone call is so Dana that I gotta go. It made me laugh
I loved it
so hard.
Yeah. I mean, like when I'm having a bad day, like put Dana yelling at a cop on the phone in my veins.
That's right.
Like that will get me up and moving.
They gave us Robbie yelling at a boss, and then they raised us.
I know. Oh my God.
The only thing I could think of I want more is Dana yelling at a cop.
And there we go. We got it.
There we go. The show loves us.
It's so good. It does. They're there for us. They know that life is hard and we need these things to, keep us going. What I don't need is anything involving eyes or the tongue. This one got me. I couldn't watch. This was like, there are things I can watch and things I can't watch, and there's really very little rhyme or reason to it. And this is one of the no's for me. Absolutely not. We have Jackie with a CK and Jackie with a Q. I love our comedic relief patients. She's completely wasted, as is her friend. And she bit her tongue while they were taking a selfie. I can't. I can almost not talk about this one. But I'll do it for the content.
Do you remember Puck from
The Real World?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Of course I remember Puck from The Real World. I'm a fucking Gen X. You kidding me? This is part of my lore.
When he had,
I think I might have blocked out what you're about to say, but I definitely.
Oh, I forgot. This is why it happened. He got his tongue bitten off.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can.
The part I didn't remember is apparently this Reddit post says he stuck his tongue in someone else's mouth without their consent, got it bitten off as a reward. So
of course
that's
he did.
What you get, Puck.
Yeah.
There's also Roach from The People Under the Stairs, a movie that I won't make us watch, but would have. Have you ever?
You could not make me watch.
Have you ever seen it?
No,
People
of course
Under
I
the
haven't
Stairs?
seen it.
It's not a horror movie. It's a fucked up movie. But there's a character in that who also. So.
Yeah, another reason I will never see it. This sort of patient, though, is our reason to throw Santos and Langdon finally together on a case, because all the other attendings are doing like life and death stuff.
He's really insistent. I think he is the only free attending, or not attending, but he's the most senior person who's free, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But also he's like, I fucked it up with Robbie. That's not working yet. On to the next one.
I also think that he is not trying to make amends with Santos in the direct way at this moment. He's trying to break the ice. Mm-hmm. And he's also like, we have to do our fucking jobs. Like, He
also doesn't really owe her an apology the same way. Like, it's more to me like Santos.
I mean, he does because he put her in that position by doing this shit around a new doctor.
That's true. But I guess to me, it's like, I guess whether he owes her an apology or not, her accepting it from him, I could see him being like, whatever, either way, we need to be able to work because so let's go.
They work together. They have to, like, the patient is the most important thing, not your little beef. Like, And
I can see him feeling that way much more about Santos than he can about Robbie.
Right. Exactly. Because, there's not that, like, backlog of, like, all this years of relationship there.
Exactly.
But Santos is being a little bitch right now. She keeps like making these little digs about the alcohol level of the patient and like rehab and all of that, and like giving him these like significant eyes. And Joy again is just watching.
Yeah. But like every time he tries to teach her, she's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I've already done it. Yeah. You were gone for 10 months. I've learned a lot.
Right. Exactly. That's the thing. I think in his mind, there's also some like suspended animation that's happened since he left, and like he only knew Santos on one day. And she has been here for the entire time and has learned a lot. Mm-hmm. But his job is to teach, and he's got to figure out what he needs to continue to teach them. And he hasn't had the background to know that at this point.
Right. Yeah. How else does he? Because he can't say, can you tell me everything you've learned in the last 10 months so I don't accidentally try to teach you something you know?
Right. Yeah. And if it was any other doctor, Santos would be like, yeah, okay, I know,
Right.
but
Yeah.
she's not having it from him. But thank God for Joy. Thank God for Joy just making like faces at the two of them and, enjoying fully this whole process. Oh, there's a moment where is it? Oh, he asks Joy, Langdon asks Joy how they're going to cut the suture.
Yeah.
And she like immediately quotes like Donnie's lesson from the previous episode.
It made me so happy. It's like, oh yeah, she really listened. That's great. That's cool.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who's not planning on sticking around here. She's not going to be doing a lot of stitches and pathology, is she?
I have no idea what pathology does other than like solves mysteries.
But also Abbott's not letting her leave the ER. She's going to be a new night on the night shift with him. So,
I mean, the two of them are the ones that reacted with like smiles when everything went to shit. Like there's that, here we go sort of like trauma response of like, I'm in chaos now. I can handle this.
Exactly.
But yeah, Joy is in her element, just watching people have secret arguments and observing them. We check in briefly with George, Mr. Francis, our patient who needed a D-dimer but didn't really need a D-dimer. He just was worried. We talked about this a little bit already, but this is Mohan like showing her special skill, which is being like comforting and talking through like the more real life holistic ways that people can improve their health, not just the, medicine.
And I hate to be this guy. I can't help myself. There's like a decades-long study, 70, 80-year study, something like that, on happiness and quality of life. And the best predictor for a flourishing life, for living longer, all those outcomes, the depth and breadth of our relationships, our connection to other people, more so than if you are a smoker, more so than if you're obese, like all of it. So, and Mohan encouraged that. And the only reason she was able to is because she has slowed down with this man.
Right. And as George says, we all need a community.
It's very sweet.
Yeah. We are going to save Howard for the end. But so before that, we need to talk about Lime Guy. Yeah, no, thank you.
I meant to look up real pictures of this to see if it's as bad.
Why would you do that?
I won't show you. I'm just curious.
Oh my God. It was disgusting. I love, though, the like, once again, we've got a duel on some like dusty, sandy plain, but this time it's Javadi and Andrea, don't look at that.
Listeners, it is, I'm seeing examples that are not as head to toe, but do look as bad as you think. And then also some that just look like, pretty bad burns. So just FYI, you don't need to look it up, but no, I'm not seeing anything quite as bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's pretty bad. I thought that was a baby hand. This guy's hand is just so swollen. He's got little ravioli hands, Can
we move towards talking about less about the blisters and more about Ogilvie and Javadi facing off with their giant brains and no common sense? It's just it's like Pinky and the Brain, but it's both the brain. They're just talking at each other.
They're
like,
so funny.
With these long words of different possible disorders, never actually asking the patient one question.
Not a single question. And both so afraid but excited.
Yeah. But I love they come up to Dr. Robbie speaking in unison.
The way they pop in, they're stacked over each other.
They're vertical versions of the twins from The Shining.
Yes, exactly.
We picked up a patient together. And Robbie's with the most sarcasm possible. Teamwork.
Really good. And
literally Joy just also popping up and being like, no, it's phytophotodermatitis, otherwise known as margarita burn.
Also, you'd think maybe somebody like Joy, who says she wants to go into pathology and really likes puzzles and mysteries, would be less likely to ask a patient a question, but she's a good mystery solver. And so she,
Yeah. And honestly, someone with that kind of brain absolutely has looked up margarita rash.
Yeah.
Because it's just a weird, unusual thing.
She's Googling weirdest named.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But lucky for this guy, He just needs some steroids and some sunscreen and he'll be fine. Thank God. Yeah. Son and I are not friends, as you also feel often, as far as I know.
Our listeners, because we're not a video podcast. Yeah. But I am so fair that my face does reflect light in pictures. So.
I'm not quite that fair, but I am a very English, pasty family by genetics and have burned my whole life. So before we get to Howard, we do have to check in on Baby Jane Doe. Baby Jane Doe. And guess who's here?
I know.
He's been here the whole time.
I was so happy to see him.
I know.
Yeah.
Raphael Chastain, if people aren't familiar, is sort of famous to the dropout community, if not other folks. He's had a few small roles recently on things and some commercials and stuff, but it's so funny to see him pop up as a very serious, doctor type.
Like, you're just a silly little guy.
Yeah.
My little shows.
Yeah.
He did a great job.
I want all of my parasocial Los Angeles comedians in the alternative comedy dropout world to show up on this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that would make me so happy. Yeah, I need Brennan Lee Mulligan as someone with a weird D&D injury.
Bird flu.
Bird flu. Oh, bird flu is perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
This is a fun game for you, me, and 3 of our listeners. What would each person come in with?
I know. Oh my God. Yeah. Sam Reich comes in with just a tummy ache.
He just got a little tummy
and he calls it a tummy ache. Yeah. Anyway, back to the show. So Baby Jane Doe is, again, illustrating a point for us in another crack in the system, basically. She's not sick enough to go to an inpatient room, but she can't really stay in the ER either. But she's too sick to go to what is it? She's not sick enough to be admitted to the hospital because of her illness. She's also too sick to go to the pediatric ward anyway, because she'll get the other kids sick, and there's just nowhere for her to go. She has to have parents to take her home.
Apparently there's a virus in the nursery and Dr. Wolk can't waste the private room on a healthy baby.
Right.
So she's got nowhere to go. She's stuck. They do mention emergency foster by tomorrow. Which this isn't going to happen. I know it's not, okay? But if this were a different show, in fact, I think this happens. I haven't watched House in so long. Also, somebody pointed out the way I don't know if this is a North and South Jersey thing or if this is a Philly, South Jersey thing, but House, Halse, is how I say that word. Robbie would be the emergency foster. You can't get a proof of foster care that fast, but there are shows that would let that happen. And that
literally happens in. Yeah, I think that literally, in Grey's Anatomy, I think Joe adopts a baby that was an abandoned hospital baby. It's a very common. It happened in Task too, I think.
Incredible.
He doesn't adopt him, but he emergency fosters some kid. Yeah. Anyway,
so I could see a different show doing that because of how Robbie responded to that baby. But
yeah.
Although that might be a reason for him to stay, even if this 54-year-old single man.
I feel like if anybody is going to have if anybody's going to have a...
Santos.
No. If anyone's going to have a storyline with that baby beyond the medical side of things, I feel like it's probably going to be Al-Hashmi.
Oh, yeah.
She has a kid that she mentioned in the beginning. She's a single mom. But, given the maternity ward story we talked about last week, that would be something that I could see. But it's not that kind of show.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's not. I think, so we're on our last patient, not last chronologically, but last that we've saved for this point because of the focus on Howard and the importance of this storyline, which is interesting because normally these important storylines are multi-episode stories where we think we're going to spend some more time with them. But it seems like Howard is probably leaving the ER unless something crazy happens. He may end up coming back if Presby's CT is down also or something. But as of right now, it seems like he's a 1-episode patient.
Yeah, because it's not they're not borrowing their CT, right? Getting the results and then swing. Do you know what I mean? It's a full,
Yeah. So Howard Knox, 52, abdominal pain and fever. And he comes in attending to him are Robbie, Ogilvie, McKay, Whitaker, and then I believe Perla. Yeah, Perla's a part of this group as well. This patient is clearly such a teaching moment for the audience, but also really shows Ogilvie's flaws in a new and really aggravating way.
I know.
You want to start with Ogilvie?
Because I spoke this way about Santos last season, and then I came around on her, and now I love her, and she's one of my favorites. Mark my words. It's not happening with this fucking guy. But is that me being more forgiving of Santos because of her background and knowing what we know about her and the things that she did to me, like, felt... or are they setting Ogilvie up for us? Like, are they setting him up for the turn the way they did for Santos? Or because once in a while, like,
there's just an asshole in the ER.
There's just an asshole in the ER.
So I have been doing a little bit of reading about this character. I watched an interview with him, Lucas, who plays him. And interestingly, like, I've seen some people say he reads as autistic, in that there's certain things he said that to him, it seems like he actually thinks he's trying to be helpful, right? When he talks about the zoo, like, that seems really insulting, but then you find out that there is actually a large CT at the zoo. It's more like he doesn't understand how his words affect other people. And yet he also is really snarky. Right. And so those two things are not the same. Like, right. You know, they say, we couldn't get an IV, and he says, I wonder why. Right. And like, it's a weird mix of things that you could excuse as someone who has no self-awareness because of some type of, like, you know, difference
for whatever reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And then things that are just seem to be mean.
Right.
And so in the interview that I saw with him, he said that when he got the part and ended up, you know, his first weeks on set, like, he thought the character was one thing and it turns out it was something else. And basically in talking to, I think, John Wells about the character, he was sort of trying to calibrate, like, how much of an asshole am I supposed to be here?
Right.
And they were encouraging him to be more of an asshole. So wow. I think it's intentional. We're not supposed to like this character. We're not supposed to be making excuses for him. That doesn't mean that he won't have some backstory later on that might give us more context, because they've done that to us with Santos. They did it with Joy. Even in the very beginning, it was a much quicker turn for Joy, but, like, she was just very, like, sarcastic and saying really somewhat inappropriate things.
Yeah, but not being, like, cruel.
Right. Right. But she did say things about, like, torturing the elderly and, like, stuff that you would never actually say with a patient nearby. But in this case, we're supposed to really hate this vibe that's coming off of Ogilvie.
And I don't know what at this point he could do to bring me back around on him. Yeah. Between that and what he croaked is also a good example of that's not somebody having like difficulty. Yeah. That's just somebody being an asshole.
Right.
To the sweetest little ghost child.
I know.
In the ER.
I think that what's one nice thing that they did here was they had the person do the correction of him be McKay, because of her missteps last season with the overweight patient, where she kind of made assumptions based on the patient's weight that she shouldn't have made.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a nice sort of turnaround moment for her as well.
Yeah. People learn on this show.
Yeah. It's funny that what we have to learn is, like, treat people like human beings, even if they look slightly different from what you think they should look like.
Right.
You know? Because we talked last week about how Robbie is, like, he's both and right now. He's still that same empathetic doctor that, like, really believes in dignity for his patients. And he is also right now moving too quickly and not pausing to really think about he's thinking more about getting the fuck out and being a little more self-involved. But this patient is a chance for him to return to the type of doctor that we love him as. That we got a lot of in season 1. because the way he speaks to this patient is very respectful, very direct, though, not like trying to couch things in euphemisms. Like,
well, especially because this patient knows that
they're not.
Yeah. Like,
right. He's not blind to the fact that, like, he hasn't had an eye stroke. He knows what his body looks like.
Right. Right.
But it also gets across the point that there's a couple of points. One, that that there's always more to the story, right? Like, this patient has gotten a car accident and had burns and had to have a bunch of surgeries. And like this, it took a long time for him to get up to this sort of, extreme weight. But also he's still like a human being that, even if he just decided to be that weight, it doesn't matter. It's like, I worry a little bit about that, like, justification part of it, but it kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes some people need
to hear that.
Like, yeah. So
that's what I mean when I say, like, it's sad that one of the lessons we need is like, hey, humans are humans.
Right, exactly.
The other thing that the actor that played this part did such a good job of like balancing scared patient, person trying to have dignity in a really undignified situation, and also like, apologizing for himself. It was just really moving. That he, like, it's sad that he felt like he needed to apologize, but also very realistic.
Right, yeah. And it's not, and like, I felt for him, but he doesn't come across as like, I don't know, pathetic or like.
No, yeah, he's funny. He's making little jokes with the communication machine they gave him.
Yeah, and the fact, like, I kept waiting for them to show him reacting more to Ogilvie, but he doesn't really. Yeah. And I'm sure it's because this is not the first time somebody has acted this way.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I also, Whittaker being little Robbie here is doing some redirecting of Ogilvie in the moment. Like, Ogilvie's making all these like suggestions of like things that he can do to make his, like, to bring his weight down. And Whittaker's like, let's focus on helping Mr. Knox.
And Robbie's like,
yeah,
I agree.
The other sort of teaching moment for the audience here is just this idea that, like, something as simple as appendicitis, which is probably what this patient has, is much more complicated because of, not only because of his weight, but because of the hospital's like lack of structures around that type of thing, where he has to be like shuttled to another hospital. I kind of hope we don't see him again, because then it means everything went okay. But I also kind of like, I liked this patient and I liked the, interactions. So, but I don't know if we're going to see him again.
Is that everyone? That's everyone.
That's everyone. Yeah. I mean, the only thing we didn't mention with Howard is just Abbott coming in and being Abbott. I mean, I don't.
It just. I know. There's nothing.
The idea that people are swooning over him, sticking his finger up the guy's nose. Like, there's a special quality.
Isn't it in his mouth?
Or, I don't know. I did not really watch this part.
We need to put record scratch.
They put something up his nose, didn't they?
Yeah, but
I don't know, man. I was not really watching.
I will say, I think some of us are maybe reacting a little too strongly to Abbott. Fine, I can agree with you there. But I will say, there is a big difference between in the guy's nose and in the guy's mouth.
I mean, is there, though, in this situation? It just feels like...
No, not in this situation, but,
Yeah. But I like Abbott using this as an opportunity to take a quick nap before his night shift.
What I don't like is them taking him away.
I know. Well, that's one of the reasons I'm wondering, like, are we actually losing this patient to another hospital, or is something going to happen that keeps them there?
Right.
Like, he hasn't actually physically left the building yet, and if something goes wrong while he's leaving, he's not leaving.
That's true. That's a good point.
I do think that the people that produced this show were working on this season while last season was airing and heard our calls.
They know, yeah.
For more Abbott.
For more Abbott, and also, like, anytime we're like, there's no explanation for Robbie acting so jealously about Whittaker and Amy, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, there is one explanation, and it's that these people know. I was just watching Noah Wiley talk about Robbie Whittaker fan art. Like, they knew and have known.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and they're not above
No.
taking that into account.
Especially when we're asking for it, when people, not me, I'm better than that,
Sure.
are asking for it directly.
Yeah.
They really can get away with being as this way as they want, because if we never leave the ER, nothing ever has to be like, it's not like, I didn't watch Supernatural, but I know like that show caught a lot of shit for kind of queer baiting their fans and then having a really shitty payoff between two of the characters. And it's like, yeah, but we're never going to see them in their home life, you know?
Yeah.
So they can kind of do, we're never going to, I'm so sorry, nobody's ever going to see, you know, Robbie and Whittaker kiss. Like, it's, because they're probably not going to kiss at work. Like,
Also, that age difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it happens, but
yeah.
Whittaker is like you said, a small ghost child.
Yeah.
And Robbie is like a broken 50-something-year-old man. And it's just a little weird to me.
Yeah. We're of an age where that is the appropriate response to that inappropriate possibility.
I mean, there's a little bit of that with Mohan and Abbott as well. I mean, like, there's not as much brokenness, and Mohan is a much more competent, has been a more competent presence from the beginning to me anyway. But that's still weird.
Yeah, further along. Yeah, they're all problem. I mean, again, even when like the Santos and Garcia, like they're all a problem, just degrees of problemness.
Right. Yeah.
And again, not that any of them have been confirmed, so.
Yeah.
Oh, well, except for Santos and Garcia, but.
Right. Yeah. But I think that's it. It was such a quick episode.
I know.
We still managed to double the running time of the episode.
I said it before, I'll say it again. I've been saying it since day one. Never will an episode of our show be longer than the thing we're reviewing.
Never will an episode of our show be shorter than the thing we're reviewing. But yeah, I liked it. I wish it was longer. You know?
Maybe they're going to shift it. Oh, good point, Andrea. Maybe next week will be an hour and 15. And because what we
can
need,
hope.
It's possible.
I mean, so, okay. Mel hasn't gone up for her deposition yet. It's supposed to happen at 3.
Right.
So, and I know that from watching the previews, this is not a spoiler. I just know that like they come down to get her for the deposition. That's what they're supposed to do. And we haven't seen that.
Yeah. The next episode's called 245.
Right. I mean, it should be because this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I want my full hour.
Maybe it'll be a little longer.
I hope so.
So I have a voicemail and a text message I would like to share from our listeners. We love hearing from you. 856-336-8986. Thank you so much for those of you who are reaching out. And then we'll end on this offer because I would love for you to use that number to let us know what you think.
Okay.
And so I will read the first one and then play the voicemail because the voicemails are exciting. So this is a new person. I found your podcast while searching for any podcast about the Pitt. So I'm glad that works.
Yeah.
It's the most informative podcast. Has actually made me go back and watch the episode again to look for the things you mentioned on the pod that I missed while watching, which is
amazing.
Feels like coming for me. And this is Melinda. Thank you for this constructive feedback. I'm with you. I hear you. The only thing that really bumps me out is you make us listeners wait till the Wednesday after the episode to post. I will say sometimes it takes me longer. My aim, and it doesn't often happen, is Monday. Like we're recording. Well, this is just for listeners. We're recording. We're about to wrap. It's almost noon on Saturday. I'm going to go upstairs and start editing and hopefully have it ready to post Monday morning. Sometimes things happen. And then because especially because you and I both have full-time jobs, like if I get to Monday morning and haven't had time to finish, then it's just fitting it in when I can.
Yeah, that is always our goal. Like if we could be like The Ringer and have our podcast out the night of, like that would be amazing. Yeah.
So if anybody's got the hookup for screener copies
of these shows, that would help.
We could do it way ahead. So we are working on that. I do again appreciate and then you said I constantly check my feeds weekly to see if you might have dropped your episode early. So kind. Here's just a little note for Melinda and any other listeners. When people say like follow the podcast, it really helps. Yeah. I always thought that was fake. It does really help though. And also you'll get the notification the second the episode goes live. So in your podcast catcher of choice, feel free to give us a follow. If you do give us a follow and leave us a review, that's so nice. We love that too. And so yeah, Melinda, welcome. I hope you stick around after the Pitt. We've got plans for lots of other things. Let us know.
Appreciate Melinda being so close to the word Melissa.
That's true. Yeah.
Thank you for that as well.
Melinda, for you, all of our listeners, we found her named Melissa, so you're right in there. And so this is from another listener of ours, Jodie. I will play it. Let me know if you can hear it.
Okay.
Hey, Andrea. Hey, Jodie. It's Rin, your emissary from Hobart, Tasmania, Australia.
Love it.
I just was wondering if you guys were ever thinking of doing The Watchers, that Dakota Fanning film. It's probably not really your vibe. I think I would just be so tickled to open my podcast and say, The Watchers, watch The Watchers. Yeah, you know what? That's all. I have to be I'm a bit nervous. I hope everything is well with you guys. Bye.
Aww.
I know. We hope everything is well with you as well. So I think The Watchers is probably too scary for Jodie. But our show the name does come from the show The Watcher.
Yeah.
Which, a little
funny
for any
story.
New listeners, that's where it came from. It's a show based set in New Jersey. Jodie, I made Jodie watch it.
Terrible show.
But it's I think episode 500.
We'll do The Watcher.
We'll do The Watcher, or when we get to 1 million downloads, we will do a Patreon season where we watch The Watchers, The Watcher, and anything else with the word Watcher in the title. So
yeah, my joke has been we'll at some point do The Watchers Watch the Watch, where we watch the Watch podcast on YouTube and create content based on that.
And so we'll put that'll go in that season. We got to do a Watchers Watch crossover.
I mean,
so, yeah, Andy.
Two Philly guys and 2 Jersey girls. The energy would be like either top tier or completely off the rails,
impossible to listen to.
Yeah,
could go either way. Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So that, I guess, is a proposal. It's not the proposal I'm talking about.
Okay.
So yesterday, this won't be out. Little spoiler for Beautiful Anonymous, if you're a Beautiful Anonymous listener who is a paywall subscriber. Tomorrow's episode, if this comes out on Monday, as I'm hoping, back behind the paywall, Gethard and our caller got into a very detailed discussion of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And
okay.
I muted the audio on my end because Geth told me to. So I'm not going to edit that part. He clapped when it was time to come back in because Gethard has said that you and I, Jodie, need to cover Avatar: The Last Airbender, the show, on this podcast. That was I don't know anything about it. He said we will love it. I know nothing about it. I'm telling you, Gethard and our caller, who is also she was very cool.
Yeah.
So I genuinely, it's never occurred to me. I haven't thought about it. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
If there's an audience for it, and listeners, you know us. If you have watched that show and you think actually Andrea and Jodie would really love it if they had a reason to watch it. Please, genuinely, this isn't me just farming for engagement. I would love to know. And if that's something you'd be interested in us covering, we wouldn't do it. It's 3 seasons. We wouldn't do a full episode by episode. We'd probably do if we're going to do it. But so let us know.
Geth knows that when I'm not watching TV for this podcast, I watch dad shows, right? I explained the themes, plot of Hijack to him.
Yeah, he knows what we're generally into, which is why I'm so curious.
Yeah, me too.
So I would love to know more. 856-336-8986. Seriously, shoot us a text, leave us a message. If you think we should cover it, we've got stuff already planned but we always have pockets where we're looking for things to cover. And I would love to do something surprising that neither of us. Yeah. So
I also have a request, actually, kind of based off of this. I'm running out of dad TV to watch. I think I have run out of dad TV to watch. I'm watching I keep trying to watch things from Nordic countries with subtitles, but the point of this television is not close attention for me. It's background, and so
you can't.
I have recently, in the past month, watched The Night Manager, The Night Agent, Hijack, and I think a few others I haven't remembered So if you have any dad television that you think is obscure enough that somebody who spends a lot of time on Netflix watching British crime dramas hasn't seen or heard of, please let me know. I need more sort of grumpy men or really, really smart, snarky women solving murders in very gray countries where there's a lot of fog.
That's okay.
That's my happy place.
That feels specific enough. Somebody's got to know.
The problem is most people, when I ask them that, don't understand the depth of my commitment to the genre and will recommend like Slow Horses or The Diplomat or... I've watched all of them. And so listen, I don't know that there is. Yeah. You got to get deep in there. I don't know if there's an answer to this question, actually, but I would love to hear other folks who are on the British crime TV beat throw some suggestions out there.
Speaking of shows that you love and also this caller and watching Avatar, another show that caller said they love is the Great Pottery Throwdown or whatever it's called. They're a potter.
Or whatever it's called. Oh, my God. Yeah. I literally texted you about it the other day.
Yeah. So that's a point in your column for trusting this listener.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Listener, other podcast.
Love the Great Pottery Throwdown. Little PSA, if there are other people like me out there who watched the Great Pottery Throwdown when it was on like HBO Max or one of those paid services, a whole bunch of seasons are, if you have like a Roku TV, are free on the Roku channel. I was trying to find them on paid services that I have, and I couldn't find them. And it turns out that they're just free on the Roku app.
Speaking of free on apps, we've talked about Taskmaster so much, but quick recommendation, Ask Hank Anything, Hank Green's show on the Complexly channel is delightful. If that's your thing, there are a couple of great episodes, but Jason Mantzoukas was just on. It's the longest episode, and they get really into Taskmaster, talking about it because, as we've said, he was just on that season. It's also just a really great, fun episode. Yeah. I love that show. So
it's like about Taskmaster and allergies.
Yeah. Yep.
Which, not surprising.
No, but it's great. I'll link to everything we just recommended. Again, please, now I'm just straight up begging, let us know. Oh, I'm going to say one more thing, and then we can all leave. Well, we can tell everybody where to find us, and then we can all leave.
Okay.
Sounds like Heated Rivalry will be back April 2027.
Fantastic.
We're gonna cover it. And so we'll probably cover season 1. Oh, we've had more than one person ask us.
Yeah.
In 2027 is my guess. My only other thought is, Jodie, and I haven't said this to you yet, I think it would be fun to do Christmas in July this year, where we just give ourselves some little gifts. And one of them could be Heated Rivalry.
I thought you were going to have us watch Christmas movies in July, and I was
that's fun too.
We've watched all the good ones already.
Yeah, I think so.
Podcast.
Yeah, no, it was just we give ourselves gifts of things that it doesn't necessarily make sense.
It's not that we watch Emmett Otter every week for all of July.
I mean, I would do it. But yeah, so stick around because in about a year we'll be gearing up to do our season 1 Heated Rivalry rewatch. In the meantime.
Yes, in the meantime. Where can they find us?
We are WatchersPodNJ on Instagram and TikTok, WatchersPodNJ at Gmail. The phone number I said a few times a few minutes ago.
Did you?
I think I did.
Was I not paying attention?
That's okay. The phone number where you're going to let us know if we should be watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and or giving Jodie recommendations for procedural dad shows. 856-336-8986. Where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Jodie_Mim, JODIE_MIM.
And I'm at AQ Andrea AQ. And I don't know if you're anything like me and all you do is wait for the next Thursday to come for the Pitt. One way to make that happen a little faster, you could bang yourself in the head.
Get in the car.
Go to New Jersey.
And don't listen to fucking Mohan and Al Hashmi about that. They don't know what they're talking about. I don't know. Mohan's still in that self-hating Jersey person phase. And Al Hashmi obviously has never lived in Jersey. But get back to your love for your roots, people. Okay, I'm done.
You're just knitting and grumbling about New Jersey while our theme song plays.
I cannot help who I am.